When the Chicago Bulls traded for Josh Giddey, they knew that he had 1 year remaining on his current deal. But the question for the day is, should the Chicago Bulls sign Josh Giddey now, or should they wait till the end of the season? Y'all know we going to talk about it, break it down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Now, before we get into the Josh Giddey stuff, just wanted to talk about Lonzo Ball real quick. Lonzo Ball has been putting in some work in these 5-on-5s. That's the latest update regarding Lonzo Ball. He looking like he moving out there. We got some defensive clip. We got some offensive clip. I know I be talking smack, saying that all clips are made to make people look good. And it's true, but I'm happy to see it when it comes to Lonzo Ball. I'm happy to see that Lonzo Ball is trending in the right direction. I'm finally happy to see that Lonzo Ball is finally on the basketball court doing basketball activities. I'm happy that right now it seems that everything is going well for him. I know he still got some hurdles that he needs to go, hop over, and some obstacles that he needs to conquer, but it's really, really good to see as a guy who hasn't played in 2 calendar years, especially for our Chicago Bulls, and especially after we seen what he can give on the basketball court. We ain't seen him, so it's really, really good to see that he's being active and he's getting closer and closer to returning for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to keep hope alive. We're going to see what happens. And y'all know we're going to keep continuing to update you guys on what takes place for your Chicago Bulls. Now, let's get into Josh Giddey. The deadline for Josh Giddey right now, the Bulls could go ahead and sign him right before the season, sometime in October. And if he doesn't sign to anything, at the end of the season, my guy can become a restricted free agent. Now, the question is, should the Chicago Bulls sign him now, or should they wait toward the end of the season to do so? When we talk about the cap space for the Chicago Bulls, over $167 million are being allocated to the team. So they spending some money right now this year. But I brought up and I thought about Josh Giddey simply because if you think about what the Bulls have done these past few seasons, they was able to retain some of their young talent on some really, really cheap deals. Kobe White, he's already well underpaid. Ayo Dosunmu, $7 million per year, well underpaid. Then you just got yourself, I believe, a cheaper deal by signing Patrick Williams. And when you talk about the other guys that surround the league, and you look at Patrick Williams himself, you say, hey, you might want to cash in now, or you might have to risk paying a little bit more later down the road. Now, there are some caveats to it and some things that you might want to see when you discuss it and talk about giving up said money to Josh Giddey, which is understandable. But, the Bulls are in the business of saving a dollar. And I ain't going to lie to you, with the way that things have been moving for certain players, you kind of want to lock them in a little bit early, especially with the way that these rookie extension contracts have been given out. Patrick Williams is one of them. 5 years, $90 million, and that's $18 million per year, which is probably a fair price compared to some of the other guys when Patrick Williams only gave the Chicago Bulls 10 points and 4 rebounds in the games that he played last season. Then you look at another guy that got signed in Detroit, and Cade Cunningham. This guy signed 5 years, $225 million by going ahead and averaging 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists for the Detroit Pistons. Another guy, Evan Mobley, 5 year, $225 million extension. And he gave the Cleveland Cavaliers 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, where does Josh Giddey fit in all of this is the perfect question that we all should be asking. Because we know that Josh Giddey has some talent, but we also know that Josh Giddey had some shortfalls and some shortcomings over there at OKC, and some things that resulted in him being placed on in a lesser role. So we look at that stuff and say, hey, Josh Giddey gave, the OKC Thunder 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in a lesser role. I know the Bulls, when they traded for him, they say this is a talented guy. What can we get out of him with a larger role? But the point is, we got to go off what he's done and what we can believe he can do. I don't know if you can come to the table early with him and probably throw around a Patrick Williams type of deal to this young player. You probably could, address him with that. Say, hey, we'll give you $20 million per year. I think that's fair enough. But how does Josh Giddey look at that? Will his agent let him know, like, hey, nah, we ain't doing that. We want you to get your money. Or does Josh Giddey say, look, I'm good. I'm good with the 20 mil per. Let's go ahead and sign. I want to lock in with the Chicago Bulls. And I know it's kind of jumping off the porch a little bit if you do say, hey, Josh Giddey, sign with the Chicago Bulls, and we don't know how he's going to be in a starter's role for this team. So that's the tricky thing when it comes to this. So do you go to him now or do you wait? Because if you wait, you might have to pay a little bit more dollars. You know what I'm saying? But if you do go to him now, you're looking at it more so as a value deal, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Or you might find yourself in trouble later down the line. Because if you wait later down the line, now you added in more caveats like, hey, what if this guy goes to an all-star game? Or, hey, what if instead of 13, 6, and 4, my guy go out and get you 18, 6, and 7? So that's an increase in points. That's an increase in rebounds. That's an increase in assists. And now the value or the perception of Josh Giddey is a lot better than what it is now at the end of the season. Guess what? Price has gone up. And if he is a restricted free agent, teams have the ability to go out there and say, hey, we want to pay Josh Giddey this. And the Bulls have to match if he signs that qualifying offer from that team. So it's a tricky game when you think about it all, because you can very well come into this and say, hey, nah, we're just going to ride out the season, see what you can give. Woo-woo. We're going to see what your value's like. At the end of the season, we're going to let the market determine your value. Now, in the past, when it came to Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White, the market told them, hey, they ain't worth much. And the Bulls got some good favor out of that. But it is a tricky game. And how many times are you going to strike on the value not being so well received from around the league? What if the value is now being perceived as something that's being good? Or saying, hey, that's a good, valuable player. We have the money to do it. Let's go out there and attack them, and let's put the pressure on the Chicago Bulls. Now, when it comes to that cap space, it is tricky because you do have Lonzo Ball that's on for this season. You still have Zach LaVine that's on for this season. You still have Nikola Vucevic that's on for this season. But keep in mind, if you sign him now, the money don't kick in until after this season. And then Lonzo Ball, his contract will be up. Nikola Vucevic, still have a year left on his deal. And Zach LaVine, if it's in your plans, Zach LaVine will be gone. So you can make these type of things work if you get strategic with it. And I say that the Bulls have to be clear with this decision and stand firm with this decision, because I told you all, and I'm going to say it again for the people that didn't hear me. When AK and Mark Eversley traded for Josh Giddey, traded Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso straight up with no additional pieces or players attached to it, that let me know that this guy was a part of their future plans. They believe that he's that good that you don't have to draft anybody else per se for Alex Caruso trade, or you're not looking for a large amount of assets in return so you can keep taking bites at the apple. This move told me that he's your guy, or at least one of the guys, to help propel the Chicago Bulls to new heights. That's what the move showed me. So if the intent was to trade for him without any other thing attached to it, y'all pretty much hitched your wagon to Josh Giddey. You hitched the wagon to Josh Giddey. So do you go out? Do you make a move like this and not have the foresight to not want to keep him long term, if they are not thinking about trying to keep him long term, that's front office malpractice. For real. It really is. You got to have, and they should have, because these guys are getting paid the top dollar, a plan in place now. A plan in place. And for those that didn't hear Mark Eversley, he flat out said it's not about Vooch anymore. It's not about Zach LaVine anymore. It's about our young guys. So show me that it's about the young guys. Now, this decision is a tough decision. If you ask me what I would do, I'm going to make him an offer. Doesn't have to take it. I'm not going to be upset if he doesn't accept, but I'm going to sit there and make an offer so I can see if I can get him for the low. Y'all know what I'm saying? While the perception around him is not very high right now. I know it's a tricky game, and depending on how many years you lock him up, it can get a little tricky depending on, you know what I'm saying, his production and the results for the team entirely. It can affect a lot of things. But if you, it's business. And you know the risk that you took by trading for him anyway. You knew that. You knew the risk that came with trading for Josh Giddey. 1 year left on the deal. He can walk for nothing. Or you still have those restricted free agent rights, or you might be paying the price. You know what I'm saying? So if you go ahead and wait, you might have to pay the price. Shout out to D-Lo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I had to throw that in there. All my people know I used to, drop a couple bars here and there, do what I do. But nonetheless, you got to make a decision. So if y'all let me know. Do you agree with me? I'm going to Josh Giddey and see if I can get it for $20 million per year. Him and Patrick Williams, I would say, hey, Pat Will, you know, we gave him 18. He signed. I wouldn't bring it up in obvious negotiations. You don't really want to give away your leverage, but you say, hey, you want to take this 20 mil? And see what he say. And if he say, nah, we say, I bet we're going to respect it. And we just move on. But you try to see if you can get it for the low now, because if you asking me what I think Josh Giddey is going to do for the next few years, I believe he's going to be solid enough for the Chicago Bulls. I believe he's going to come out this season, go 18.6 rebounds, 7 assists. I believe he's going to get better from the three-point shot as he's shown for the last few years of his career. I believe that he's going to get better defensively. Is he going to be an elite defender? No, but I believe that he's shown in the Olympics that he's capable. So we're going to work on the capabilities that he have to improve it to where it's good enough to where he's not a liability, and it's like we have to get him off the floor in clutch moments. We don't want that issue. So I will be hitching my wagon, offering him that deal, try to see if he want to go for 20 mil. If not, no hard feelings, let's play ball. And we just got to see what we can get out of it. But if you don't try, you don't know. If you don't ask, you don't know. If you don't shoot the shot, how you know if you're going to score? It's really that simple, y'all. So y'all let me know. If you were sitting if you was GM right now, would you go to Josh Giddey or would you wait for the end of the season? Y'all let me know down below. I believe this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to the table and try to see if I can get him for this 20 mil. If you don't want to take the 20 mil, it is what it is. If the number get closer, 25, maybe 25, maybe, especially with the expectations of the cap rising, especially with we don't know how the contracts of Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball are going to be affecting us moving forward. It won't hurt. It won't hurt. I'm just saying. But y'all let me know down in the comment box, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for me today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode. On your way out, make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the channel. We about to get ready and get this thing heated up a little more as we edge closer and closer and closer to Bulls training camp. So tune in. If you want to call in and be a part of one of our mailbag episodes, hit the number 773-242 9219. Call in, state your name, leave your take. Thank y'all so much, Bulls Nation. Always see red. You already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac.